Howdy folks, Jambareeqi here. Who is Charles Bronson? Born Michael Peterson, Charles Bronson, who took his name from the star of the Death Wish movies, has only committed petty crimes in society, but inside prison, he made a name for himself as Britain's most dangerous prisoner because he's so violent and temperamental. You see, Bronson was completely obsessed with finding fame, and he knew that showmanship was the key to getting there. He has spent many decades surviving a variety of prisons across Britain. The prison system found him so difficult that they even sent him to a mental hospital for a while. However, he has found recognition as an artist through his strange, satirical cartoons, and he recently vowed to start leading a more peaceful life. And in 2008, Danish filmmaker Nicholas Winding Refn made a film about him called Bronson. Bronson is an intense drama about the life of prisoner Charles Bronson and the wild escapades he leads in prison, from acts of violence to hostage-taking. Whenever he's given a chance to function in society though, he continues to get himself back in the slammer. It seems that he's more comfortable and content living in the solitude of prison. Will Bronson's new artistic talent help him to find a reason to live a more civilized life? Director Nicholas Winding Refn has stated that this movie is less of a biopic and more of a tale of an artist finding his field of creativity. While this approach helps to make the film more personal to Refn himself, it also makes it seem like it's less interested in analysing Charles Bronson as a character. The end result comes across like a movie made by someone who feels obliged to tell someone's life story while indulging in their own cinematic style. There's very little time spent on understanding Bronson's motives and intentions. A majority of the film plays out as a series of reenactments of Bronson's most notable prison antics. I'll admit that I got a bit bored and unsatisfied from watching scene after scene being dedicated to Bronson's crazy violence. Okay, I get it, Charles Bronson is a madman who likes punching people, but surely there's more to him than that. Surely we can have an in-depth character study. I know that the director isn't interested in diving into Bronson's psyche, but personally, as an audience member, I'd rather learn more about him than see yet another example of him being violent and aggressive. I think I preferred scenes where Bronson was in the outside world. These sequences were interesting because it gave us a chance to see him explore an environment outside his comforts of prison. These scenes were also a fresh change of pace after watching him brawl with guards for a 10th time. However, the film is executed in a very cool and slick way. As a clever narration device, Bronson performs theatrical onstage monologues to a crowd. This is a very unique way of both capturing Bronson's showman personality and telling his story. A lot of the film is also made up of long, slow takes, which brilliantly helps to add tension when Bronson is on screen. The man is very unpredictable and unhinged, so awkwardly long takes help to keep us on our toes. What will he do next? How will he react to what someone just said to him? This can lead to some pretty exciting moments. So while the film does get stale at times and refuse to be more in-depth about its central focus, it is capable of providing patches of entertainment. I'm going to give 3 points to the content. Charles Bronson is violent, narcissistic and despicable, yet we sympathise with him at times, because he's the victim of a brutal prison system who doesn't know what to do with him. Plus, his wild, charismatic energy is very entertaining and funny at times. The film chooses not to explain Bronson's behaviour or dive into his psyche, and while this does encourage the idea that sometimes evil can't be explained, it gives little room for character development. It's hard to get invested in Bronson as a character when we don't get to learn why his mind ticks the way it does. Bronson is surrounded by a wide variety of characters, most of which don't get much screen time despite their important involvement in Bronson's life. Interestingly though, the majority of the supporting characters are designed to be people to test Bronson's intense, hypermasculine personality. From flamboyant camp caricatures to cold individuals only interested in exploiting Bronson's rising fame. It's fascinating watching Bronson meet all these kinds of personalities and how he reacts to them. I'm going to give 4 points to the characters. This is a very stylish and slick looking movie, shot with a controlled precision reminiscent of the work of Stanley Kubrick. Interestingly, this film's DOP was Larry Smith, who had actually served in the camera and lighting departments for several Kubrick movies, hence the Kubrick-esque visual tone. This wide and strikingly comprehensive style of cinematography helps to capture the cold environments that Bronson is trapped inside, whether it's the empty space of the mental hospital or the uncomfortably small prison cells. At the same time, this filming style also frames actors' performances with meticulous flair. These shots are filmed with wide intricacy to help us read every single nitty-gritty aspect of the visceral emotions and unsettling backgrounds. There's also a strong sense of colour being used to indicate certain emotions and atmospheres, like a glaring, violent red for prison scenes and a sickly green for the mental hospital. This is certainly a swish-looking movie that's confident about bearing all. I'm going to give 5 points to the visuals. Tom Hardy is mesmerising as Charles Bronson. He sacrifices his dignity and comfort, spending most of the film blood-stained, drugged, beaten or naked. This determination to sell himself as a self-destructive narcissistic lunatic results in a powerful, authentic and human performance. He steals the spotlight in every scene and has a compelling screen presence. I was constantly locked onto his performance because he never ceases to be captivating. I'm not surprised that this role catapulted Hardy's career afterwards, because he clearly shed his own identity to help us believe in this character.
Fucking cunt! You fucking cunt!
The supporting actors, while not as remarkable as Hardy, also give solid performances, as they deliver lines organically and bounce off Bronson's raging personality superbly well. Without these great actors, Tom Hardy would have had little to work with.
20 quid, you're having a fucking laugh, ain't you?
Oh, spare me the Oliver Twist routine, Charlie love. You need to build your audience.
I'll give you fucking magic in there.
Magic? You just pissed on a gypsy in the middle of fucking nowhere. It's hardly the hottest ticket in town, darling.
What? When's the next one?
You're very muscly, aren't you? Mind if I hold your arm? Oh my God. It's huge.
I'm going to give 5 points to the acting. This film's soundtrack is a collection of classical and electronic music. This music certainly adds an operatic flair to the film's theatrical tone that fits Bronson's showmanship, but sometimes it feels like some of the 80s pop songs being featured are only being used because they sounded cool to the director. This made some scenes look more like music videos than cinematic pieces of a story. Although, if you like 80s synth music in your movies, regardless of their storytelling value, then you'll love hearing these songs pop up alongside stylish imagery. I'm going to give 3 points to the music. To conclude, Bronson is a slick and stylish movie with a theatrical personality. However, I wouldn't say it's anything intellectually remarkable. It doesn't really dive into the mind of a madman or draw any interesting conclusions. However, I definitely recommend it just to see Tom Hardy's highly entertaining and engaging performance. Bronson has gained 20 points, which translates to 4 caged strawberries out of 5. If you enjoyed such films as Clockwork Orange or Mean Machine, then I think you might like this movie. So, have you seen Bronson? If so, what did you think of it? And if you've not seen Bronson, do you want to? Do you not want to? Let me know in the comment section below. Now, for the next episode of Jambareeqi Reviews, I'm going to be letting you decide what I review next. That's right, for a poll. I've linked the poll in the description box below. Simply click it, and you can pick from a wide variety of nominations made by myself and many other people. You can also contribute your own nominations by simply clicking Nominate a Film. I'm really excited to see what you pick for the next episode, but make sure that it's a feature-length film or a short film. I don't review games or entire TV shows, okay? Cheerio, folks. And in 2008, Danish filmmaker biographical. So while the film can get boring and stale at times, it is capable of providing some entertaining piss. What? So while the film can get stale at times and refuses to be more in-depth about... To conclude, Bronson is a stylish and sci-fi. To conclude, Bronson is a slick and However, it's worth seeing just for Tom Hardy's performance. For the next episode of Jambareeqi Reviews, I'm going to be letting you decide what I review next. Simply vote in the... There's a down there, you're a sport inside of it,